Book summary. Dale Carnegie, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. Book summary. Chapter 1. Live in Day-Tight Compartments. I wasn't interested in making a lot of money, but I was interested in making a lot of living. Science said he, French philosopher Very, is a collection of successful recipes. We have all read the Golden Rule and the Sermon on the Mount. Our trouble is not ignorance, but inaction. Our main business is not to see what lies dimly at the distance, but to do what lies clearly at hand. Shut off the past. Let the dead past bury its dead. Shut out of the past. Shut out the yesterday, which has light fools the way to dusty death. The load of tomorrow added to that of yesterday, carried today, makes the strongest falter. Shut off the future as tightly as the past. The future is today. There is no tomorrow. The day of man's salvation is now. There is no tomorrow. The day of man's salvation is now. Waster of energy, mental distress, nervous worries dog the steps of the man who is anxious about the future. Shut close. Then the great four and aft bulkheads and prepare to cultivate the habit of life of day-tight compartments. The best possible way to prepare for tomorrow is to concentrate with all your intelligence, all your enthusiasm on doing today's work superbly today. That is the only possible way you can prepare for the future. Take no thought for tomorrow. Good things deals with causes and effects and leads to logic, constructive planning. Bad thinking frequently leads to tension and nervous breakdowns. Have no anxiety about tomorrow, said Jesus. Live in day-tight compartments. Every day is a new life to a wiser man. Each morning I said to myself, today is a new life. Heraclitus told his students that everything changes except the law changes. Life is a ceaseless change. The only certainty is today. Carpe diem, enjoy the day or seize the day. Yes, seize the day and make the most of it. This is the day which the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. John Ruskin had on his desk a simple piece of stone on which he carved one word, today. Shut the iron doors on the past and future. Live in day-tight compartments. Chapter 2. A magic formula for solving various equations. Step 1. Analyze the situation fearlessly and honestly and figure out what the worst that could possibly happen as a result of this failure. Step 2. After figuring out what was the worst that could possibly happen, reconcile yourself to accepting it if necessary. Step 3. From that time on, calmly devote time and energy to trying to improve upon the worst which has already happened and mentally accept it. One of the worst features about worrying is that it destroys our ability to concentrate. When we worry, our minds jump here and there and everywhere, and we lose all power of decisions. Be willing to do it so, because acceptance of what has happened is the first step in overcoming the consequences of any misfortune. William James. Chapter 3. What worry may do to you. Businessmen who do not know how to fight worry die young. Dr. Alexis Carrel said it. What shall it profit a man if he gains the world and loses his health? Plato said that the greatest mistake physicians make is that they attempt to cure the body without attempting to cure the mind. Yes, the mind and the body are one and should be treated separately. The Lord may forgive us our sins, said William James, but the nervous system never does. Those who keep the peace of their inner selves in the midst of the tumult of the modern city are immune from nervous diseases. Dr. Alexis Carrel. Thoreau said in his immortal book Walden, I know of no more encouraging fact than the unquestionable ability of man to elevate his life by a conscious endeavor. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life he has imagined, he will meet with a successful, unexpected in common hours. Face the facts, quit worrying, then do something about it. If you want to avoid worry, do what William Osrell did. Live in day-tight compartments. Don't stew about the future. Just live each day until bedtime. How to analyze and solve your worry problems. That comes into chapter 4, how to analyze and solve worry problems. I keep 6 honest serving men. They taught me all I knew. Their names are what and why and when and how and where and who. Rudyard Kipling. 3 basic steps of problem solving. The 3 steps are get the facts, analyze the facts, and arrive at the decision, and then act on the decision. Confusion is the chief cause of worry. Half the worry in the world is caused by people trying to make decisions before they have sufficient knowledge on which to base a decision. If a man will devote his time to securing facts in all impartial, objective way, his worries will usually evaporate in the light of knowledge. Thomas Edison said in all seriousness, there is no experiment to which a man will not resort to avoid the labor of thinking. Charles Kettering puts it, a problem well stated is a problem half solved. What am I worrying about? What can I do about it? Experience have proved to me time after time the enormous value of arriving at a decision. It is the failure to arrive at a fixed purpose, the ability to stop going around and round in madding circles, that drives men to nervous breakdowns and living hells. I find that 50% of my worries vanish once I arrive at a clear, definite decision. And another 40% usually vanishes once I start to carry out the decision. So I banished about 90% of my worries by taking these 4 steps. Writing down precisely what I am worrying about. Writing down what I can do about it. Deciding what to do and starting immediately to carry out that decision. Do something about it. Unless we carry out our actions, all our facts finding and analysis are whistling upwind. It's a sheer waste of energy. Once you have made a careful decision based on the facts, go into action. Don't stop to reconsider. Don't lose yourself in self-doubting with baggage other doubts. Don't keep looking back over your shoulder. There comes a time when we must decide and act and never look back. Chapter 5. How to eliminate 50% of tour business worries. There are 4 questions that must come to your mind when there is problem or worries. Question 1. What is the problem? Question 2. What is the cause of the problem? Question 3. What are all possible solutions of the problem? Question 4. What solutions do you suggest? Only knowledge that is used sticks in your mind to absorb in his work of to worry. Chapter 6. How to crowd worry out of your true mind. Research men rarely have nervous breakdowns. They haven't time for such luxuries. It is utterly impossible for a human mind, no matter how brilliant they are, to think of more than one thing at any given time. Occupational therapy is a term now used by psychiatry when work is prescribed as though it were a medicine. The remedy to worry is to get completely occupied doing something constructive. Without purpose, the day would have ended, as such days always end as disintegration. Keep busy. The worried person must lose himself in action, lest he wither in despair. Chapter 7. Don't let the Beatles get you down. Disraeli said, "Life is too short to be little. Let's not allow ourselves to be upset by small things. We should despise and forget. Remember, life is too short to be little." Chapter 8. A law that will outlaw many of tour worries. 99% of the things I worried about never happened. Let's examine the record. Let's ask ourselves, what are the chances according to the law of averages that this event I am worrying about will ever occur? Chapter 9. Cooperate with the inevitable. Circumstances alone do not make us happy or unhappy. It is the way we react to circumstances that determines our feelings. Henry Ford told me much the same thing. When I can't handle events, he said, I let them handle themselves. Epictetus taught in Rome 19th century ago. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. If it is to be, it has to be. When we stop fighting the inevitable, we release energy which enables us to create a richer life. The masters of Jiu-Jitsu teach their pupils to bend like the willow. Don't resist like the oak. You and I will last longer and enjoy smoother riding if we learn to absorb the shocks and jolts along the rocky road of life. Every time I'm tempted not to worry about something I can't possibly change, I shrug my shoulders and say, forget it. Try to bear lightly what needs to be and what needs must be. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Cooperate with the inevitable. Have you ever thought about writing a book? Chapter 10. Put a stop-loss order on your worries. Began to place a stop-loss order on any and every kind of annoyance and resentment that came to me. The lesson it taught Franklin was chipped in the end. As I grew up, he said, and came into the world and observed the actions of men, I thought I met with many, very many, who gave too much for the whistle. In short, I conceived that a great part of miseries of mankind are brought upon by them, by the false estimate that they have made of the value of things, and by giving too much for their whistles. How much does this thing I'm worrying about really matter to me? At what point shall I set a stop-loss order on this worry and forget it? Exactly how much shall I pay for the whistle? Have I already paid more than it is worth? Calmly analyzing our past mistakes and profiting by them and forgetting them. Knowledge isn't power until it is applied. Of course, you can't sow sawdust. Mr. Shedd exclaimed, it's already sowed. And it's the same with the past. When you start worrying about things that are over and done with, you're merely trying to sawdust people's ability to write off their worries and tragedies and go on living fairly happy lives. Crown worry out of your mind by keeping busy. Plenty of actions is one of the best therapies ever devised. Don't permit little things, the mere termites of life, to ruin your happiness. Use the law of average to outlaw your worries. Ask yourself, what are the odds against the things happening at all? Put a stop-loss order on your worries. Decide just how much anxiety a thing may be worth and refuse to give it more. Chapter 11. Don't try to sow sawdust. A mental attitude is the X factor that determines our fate. Emotions said, a man is what he thinks about all day long. How could he possibly be anything else? The biggest problem you and I have to deal with, in fact, almost the only problem we have to deal with, is choosing the right thoughts. Chapter 12. 8 words that can transform your life. Roman Empire, Marcus Aurelius summed it up in 8 words. 8 words that can determine your destiny. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Norman Vincent Peale. You are not what you think you are, but what you think you are. Be concerned about our problems, but not worried. When their minds were filled with positive thoughts of strength, they increased their actual physical powers almost 500%. Such is the incredible power of our mental attitude. All causation was mind, and every effect a mental phenomena. Our peace of mind and the joy we get out of living depends not on where we are, or what we have, or who we are, but solely upon our mental attitude. Nothing can bring you peace but yourself. Helen Keller. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, warned that we ought to be more concerned about removing tumors and abscesses from the body. A man is not hurt so much by what happens as by his opinion of what happens, and our opinion of what happens is entirely up to us. William James, who has never been topped in his knowledge of practical psychology, once made this observation. Action seems to follow feeling, but really action and feeling go together, and by regulating the action which is under our direct control of the will, we can indirectly regulate the feeling which is not. Just for today I will be happy. This assumed that what Abraham Lincoln said is true, that most folks are about as happy as they make up their minds to be. Happiness is from within. It is not a matter of externals. Just for today, I will try to adjust myself to what is and try to adjust everything to my own desires. I will take my family, my business, and my luck as they come and fit myself to them. Just for today, I will take care of my body. I will exercise, care for it, nourish it, not abuse it nor neglect it, so that it will be a perfect machine for my building. Just for today, I will try to strengthen my mind. I will learn something useful. I will not be a mental loafer. I will read something that requires effort, thought, and concentration. Just for today, I will exercise my soul in 3 ways. I will do something a good turn and not get found out. I will do at least 2 things I don't want to do, as William James suggests. Just for exercise. Just for today, I will be agreeable. I will look as well as I can, dress as becomingly as possible, talk low, act courteously, be liberal with praise, criticize not at all, nor find fault with anything, and not try to regulate nor improve anyone. Just for today, I will try to love through this day only, not to tackle my whole life problem at once. I can do things for 12 hours that would appeal me if I had to keep them up for a lifetime. Just for today, I will have a program. I will write down what I expect to do every hour. I may follow it exactly, but I will have it. It will eliminate toothpaste, hurry, and indecision. Just for today, I will have a quiet half hour all by myself and relax. In this half hour, sometimes I will think of the universe so as to get a little more perspective into my life. Just for today, I will be unafraid. Especially, I will not be afraid to be happy, to enjoy what is beautiful, to love and to believe that those I love me. If we want to develop a mental attitude that will bring us peace and happiness, think and act cheerfully, and you will be cheerful. Chapter 13. The high cost of getting even. Even if we can't love our enemies, let's at least love ourselves. Let's never waste a minute thinking about people we don't like. Chapter 14. If you do this, you will never worry about ingratitude. It is a natural for people to forget to be grateful. So if we go around expecting gratitude, we are headed straight for a lot of heart aches. If we want to find happiness, let's stop thinking about gratitude or ingratitude and give for the inner joy of giving. To avoid resentment and worry over ingratitude, here is rule 3. Instead of worrying about ingratitude, let's expect it. Let's remember that Jesus healed 10 lepers in one day and only one thanked him. Why should we expect more gratitude than Jesus got? Let's remember that the only way to find happiness is not to expect gratitude but to give for the joy of giving. Let's remember that gratitude is a cultivated trait. So if we want our children to be grateful, we must train them to be grateful. Chapter 15. Would you like $1 million for what you have? The biggest lesson I learned from this experience was that if you have all the fresh water you want to drink and all the food you want to eat, you ought to never complain about anything. About 90% of the things in our lives are right and about 10% are wrong. If we want to be happy, all we have to do is concentrate on the 90% that are right and ignore the 10% that are wrong. As Schopenhauer said, we seldom think of what we have but always of what we lack. There are 2 things to aim at in life. First, to get what you want, and after that, to enjoy it. Only the wisest of mankind achieve the second. Count your blessings, not your troubles. Chapter 16. Find yourself and be yourself. Remember, there is no one else on earth like you. Be the best of whatever you are. Let's not imitate others. Let's find ourselves and be ourselves. Chapter 17. If you have a lemon, make a lemonade. When you have a lemon, make lemonade. Turn minus into a plus. Two men looked out from prison bars. One saw the mud and the other saw the stars. The best things are the most beautiful. Said by Thelma Thompson. Happiness is not merely pleasure, it is mostly victory. The most important thing in life is not to capitalize on your gains. Any fool can do that. The really important thing is to profit from your losses. That requires intelligence, and it makes the difference between a man of sense and a fool. Chapter 18. How to cure melancholy in 14 days. Forget yourself by becoming interested in others. Do every day a good deed that will put a smile of joy on someone's face. Try to think every day how you can please someone. Chapter 19. How my mother and father conquered worry. Faith is one of the forces by which men live, and the total absence of its means collapse. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Saint Francis. Chapter 20. Remember that no one ever kicks a dead dog. Remember that unjust criticism is often a disguised compliment. Remember that no one ever kicks a dead dog. Unjust criticism is often a disguised compliment because it often means that you have aroused jealousy and envy. Chapter 21. Do this and criticism can't hurt you. Never be bothered by what people say, as long as you know that in your heart you are right. Do the very best you can, and then put up your old umbrella and remember the rain of criticism from running down the back of your neck. Chapter 22. Fool thing I have done. Every man is a damn fool for at least 5 minutes every day. Wisdom consists in not exceeding that limit. Let's keep a record of the fool things we have done and criticize ourselves. Since we can't hope to be perfect, let's do the E.H. Little did. What E.H. Little did. Let's ask for unbiased, helpful, constructive criticism. Chapter 23. How to add 1 hour a day to your waking life. Rest often. Rest before you get tired. Rest is not a matter of doing absolutely nothing. Rest is repair. Do what the army does. Take frequent rest. Do what heart does. Rest before you get tired. And you will add an hour a day to your waking life. Chapter 24. What makes you tired and what you can do about it. Mental work alone can't make you tired. Psychiatrists declare that most of your fatigue derives from our mental and emotional attitudes. We get tired because our emotions produce nervous tensions in the body. Worry, tenseness and emotional upsets are the 3 of the biggest causes of fatigue. Relax, learn to relax while you are doing your work. Tension is a habit, relaxing is a habit, and habits can be broken, good habits can be formed. Relaxation is the absence of all tension and effort. Chapter 25. How the housewife can avoid fatigue and keep looking young. Keep a notebook or scrapbook for inspirational reading. Don't dwell too long on the shortcomings of others. Get interested in your neighbors. Make up or schedule for tomorrow's work before you go to bed tonight. Finally, avoid tension and fatigue. If you're going to get the worry kicks out of the people, they're got to relax. Lie flat on the floor whenever you feel tired. Stress as tall as you can. Roll around if you want to. Do it twice a day. Close your eyes. Quiet your nerves with slow, steady breathing. Breathe from deep down. Think of the wrinkles and frowns in your face and smooth them out. Chapter 26. 4 good working habits that will help prevent fatigue and worry. Good working habit number 1. Clear your desk of all papers except those relating to the immediate problem at hand. Good working habit 2. Do things in the order of their importance. Those 2 priceless abilities are: first, the ability to think; second, the ability to do things in order of their importance. Good working habit 3. When you give a problem, solve it then and there if you have the facts necessary to make a decision. Don't keep putting off decisions. Good working habit 4. Learn to organize, deputize and supervise. Chapter 27. How to banish the boredom that produces fatigue, worry and resentment. It is a well-known fact that our emotional attitude usually has far more to do with producing fatigue than has physical exertion. William James counsels us to act as if we were brave and we would be brave, and to act as if we were happy and we would be happy, and so on. Fake it till you make it. Act it till it is real. Give yourself a preparation talk every day. Chapter 28. How to keep Worrying about insomnia. A life is what our thought makes us. Our thoughts make it. By talking to yourself every hour a day, you can direct yourself to think thoughts of courage and happiness, thoughts of power and peace. By talking to yourself about the things you have to be grateful for, you can fill your mind with thoughts that soar and sing. Keep reminding yourself that getting interested in your job will take your mind off your worries, and in the long run will probably bring promotion and increased pay. So, to keep from worrying about insomnia, here are 5 rules. Read until you do feel sleepy. Worrying about insomnia usually causes far more damage than sleeplessness. Relax your body. Get yourself so physically tired you can't stay awake. Rest before you get tired. Learn to relax at your work. Protect your health and appearance by relaxing at home. To prevent worry and fatigue, put enthusiasm into your work. Chapter 29. The major decision of a life. A man can be succeeded at almost anything for which he has unlimited enthusiasm. It is perfectly appalling to realize that a man will give more thought to buying a suit of clothes that will wear out in a few years than he will give to choosing the career of which his whole future depends on, which is his whole future happiness and peace of mind are based. Good writing is the kind that transfers your thoughts and emotions to the reader, and do that. You don't need a large vocabulary, but you do need ideas, experiences, convictions, example, and excitement. Chapter 30. 70% of all your worries are about money. Income accomplished nothing but an increased spending and an increase in headaches. What causes most people to worry? They don't know how to spend the money they have. We have to have a plan for spending our money and spend according to that plan. Where your money is concerned, you are in business for yourself, and it is literally your business what you do with your money. To lessen financial worries, let's try to follow these 11 rules. Get the fact down on paper. Get a tailor-made budget that really fits your need. Learn how to spend wisely. Don't increase your headaches with your income. Try to build credit in the event you must borrow. Protect yourself against illness, fire, and emergency expenses. Do not have your life insurance proceed paid to your widow in cash. Or do have in cash. Oh no, it should be in installments. Teach your children a responsible attitude towards money. So you have to teach your children a responsible attitude towards money. If necessary, make a little extra money off your kitchen stove. Don't gamble ever. If we can't possibly improve our financial situation, let's be good to ourselves and stop resenting what can't be changed. Chapter 31. Stories on how people conquered worry. There are lots of stories about how people conquered worry. We could eat only 3 meals a day and sleep in only 1 bed at a time. Remember, today is the tomorrow you worries about yesterday. Ask yourself, how do I know this thing I'm worrying about will really come to pass? I realize that the world has always been in the throes of agony, that civilization has always been tottering on the brink. Realize that as conditions are now, they are infinitely better than they used to be. This enables me to see and to face my present troubles in their proper perspective, as well as to realize that the world as a whole is constantly growing better. Try to get the viewpoint of 10,000 years and see how trivial your troubles are in terms of eternity. Accept the inevitable, and they get busy and pick up the pieces. God will take care of you. Worry goes when exercises begin. So there is a rule 1. Find out precisely what is the problem you are worrying about. Rule 2. Find out the cause of the problem. Rule 3. Do something constructive at once about solving the problem. He that sent me is with me. The Father hath not left me alone. And Erickson invariably answers, no, nothing could be that bad. Don't take yourself too seriously. Try just laughing at some of your sillier worries and see if you can't laugh them out of existence. What's the principle here? Don't try to solve us. Accept the inevitable. If you can't go lower, you can try growing. Applied to principle describes in the book. She kept too busy and to worry, and she continued her blessings. This is a story about a woman who applied these 2 principles. The same technique may be helpful to you. Laugh at yourself sometimes. The cure was in the change in the mental attitude. Why don't crumble up your worries about yesterday's problem and toss them into the water basket? The load of tomorrow added to that of yesterday carried today makes the strongest falter. Why even try to carry the loads? Remember that George Bernard Shaw says, the secret of being miserable is to have the leisure to bother about whether you are happy or not. Keep active, keep busy. Time solves a lot of things. Time may also solve what you are worrying about today. Face the worst that can happen. Avoid worry. Never worry about anything, under any kind of circumstances. Relax and take plenty of mild exercise in your open air. Watch your diet. Always stop eating while you are still a little hungry. Sex is admittedly the most important subjects in life. It is admittedly the thing which causes the most shipwrecks in the happiness of men and women. First, I ask myself, what is the worst that can possibly happen? Second, I try to accept it mentally. Third, I concentrate on the problem and see how can I improve the worst, which I am already willing to accept if I have to. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.